Hello crafty friends, I'm Lynn from Studio Kato and I'm so happy you're joining me again today. Today I have a really fun technique to share with you guys that will put your sentiment dies in the spotlight. Today I am using this Layered Joy die set by Reverse Confetti, though I am only using the scripty layer. And I die cut that a bunch of times out of colored cardstock. So I die cut it twice out of 5 different colors of cardstock, and I'm putting them in rainbow order. Then I can adhere them together with the Barely Art Precision Craft glue. Just any liquid glue will work for this. You just want some wiggle time to make sure they are aligned perfectly, because that's really important for this technique. Usually I don't bother with perfect, but it really makes a difference if you adhere these really nicely together. Because what you want to do is to try and cover all the color with a specialty cardstock or even a black cardstock die cut on top of it. And then you just see all the rainbow goodness on the side if you look at the card from the side. So you want to adhere each layer perfectly on top of the previous one so none of the color is poking through on the sides. That's also why I die cut each color twice, so you can see more of that color on the side. So if you look at it from the side, you will see a bunch of blue, a bunch of green, a bunch of yellow, a bunch of orange, and a bunch of pink, and not just a tiny, tiny sliver of it. Now this die cut will be very, very thick, but it will be worth it. It will be worth the extra postage. It's such a fun technique. Now, as I mentioned, I will finish off this die cut with a specialty cardstock. This is just a holographic cardstock that has some really fun dots in it. And there you can see that side view I mentioned. I wanted to use this Brilliance cover panel die by Reverse Confetti, but I thought it was too big. I wanted my panel to be framed a little bit, and the easiest way to do that is to cut down your panel, especially if it's a white panel, prop it up onto some cardboard or any dimensional adhesive you prefer. I like cardboard because it's lightweight and cheap, and I just adhere that on top of my white note card. And that white margin it leaves all the way around the white cover panel is just stunning. It's just a subtle framing device, and you don't have to die cut a frame or take away from that lovely white space. Now in the center of this, I will adhere this lovely rainbow die cut with some Barely Art Precision Craft glue. Again, any liquid adhesive will work. If you want something stronger than the Barely Art glue, I highly recommend Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. But I find that Barely Art Precision Craft glue does fine gluing paper to paper. So I am doing that again here. I am stacking all these dots on the J with some liquid adhesive again, and I am using my jewel picker to adhere them all together, to pick them up and to handle them easily. Anytime I have one of those little pieces to stack together, I do it this way because it's really easy to handle them this way. If you have to stack them off the card first and then adhere them on the card, they can be quite fiddly, so I highly recommend you do this instead. Now the background was a little empty, so I figured why not add more sparkle. I used the Meraki Sparkle Magic Crystal to add a bunch of gems to this card. And at first I was trying to stick to my regular groups of 3 and adhere them in somewhat of a triangle shape, but it wasn't working out, so I figured why not follow those little radiant cuts in the panel that the die makes. So I started doing that, and I went a little bit overboard maybe, but I mean, can you go overboard with sparkle? I doubt it. I really love how this turned out. There's a lot of gems on this card and they were all worth it. So I am just figuring out the placement of my gems first, putting them all down with that jewel picker again. And then once I'm happy with all the placement, once I'm happy where all the gems are, I can adhere them down with that Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. I'm really happy I went with this method of adhering the gems or arranging the gems, because this way it adds to the cover panel, that Brilliance cover die by Reverse Confetti, instead of taking away from it or distracting from it. I love those little score lines. They're just so fun, and they really pull your focus to the center of the card, and those gems just help with it. Now for my matching envelope, I have to admit it doesn't really match, but I wanted to use this pattern paper for a while now, and it doesn't really match any of my designs, but it's so fun, and I figured this was a perfect card to use it with, because the card itself is not too busy, and I think this envelope just works with it. There's also some unicorns in there in the pattern paper, and I figured why not with a rainbow joy Christmas card. It's a fun envelope and a fun card, so why not? And that finishes up my project. I am going to give you some close-ups of all the shimmer and shine, and of course of that rainbow die cut layering. I love this technique, and I don't think I've done this in the past year or so. It's been a really long time, and it's been high time that I try it again. I hope you like this card. I definitely do. I've been really enjoying making rainbow Christmas cards or brightly colored Christmas cards, and there's no stopping me now. I have fallen into this hole, and I'm not crawling my way out of it. If you like this card or if you like the video, please leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read them. You can also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos, and make sure you visit the Reverse Confetti blog. I will link to my blog post on there so you can read more details on this card as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.